Hi, everyone. Welcome to Guiding Current L&D Trends with Proven Learning Design Principles, sponsored by Clarity Consultants. I'm Joe Pulichino, Principal Consultant at Athena Learning Solutions. It's great to be here with you today. Let's dive right into today's learning journey. Many of you have read Clarity's Trends in Instructional Design ebook, and it will serve as the foundation for this session. If you haven't, no worries. I'll get you caught up as we go along. This ebook identifies 5 of the latest trends in instructional design: AI-powered learning that personalizes at scale, hybrid approaches blending in-person and digital, microlearning with bite-sized modules, gamification using game mechanics for engagement, and accessibility and inclusion for design that reaches all learners. These trends seem to be everywhere these days, and they all sound promising. But we kept hearing the same questions from L&D professionals like yourselves. I'd like to follow these trends, but how do I know I'm just not falling for the latest fad? How do I actually implement them effectively and deliver learning solutions that work and results that really matter? Here's the answer. Solution trends come and go, but how people actually learn remains the same. It's constant. So the book also covers proven learning design principles: andragogy, accelerated learning, the 9 events of instruction, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and transformational learning. The ebook treats these principles separately from the trends, but today we'll be connecting the dots. I'll show you how to use some of these time-tested principles to guide your implementation of these trends effectively. Think of them as your navigation system for making smart learning design decisions no matter the trend. By the end, you'll have a systematic approach to trend implementation. Let's start by getting clear on what these trends are all about and why they matter to you. Here's the 5 trends in the orange stack on the left: AI-powered learning, hybrid learning, microlearning, gamification, and accessibility and inclusive design. And in the blue stack on the right, I've listed how each trend practically and usefully supports a learning experience. Let's take a quick look at each one. AI-powered learning can drive personalization at scale by understanding and responding to each learner's specific needs. Hybrid learning provides flexible, blended experiences that meets learners where they are, respecting their time, priorities, and workflow. Microlearning delivers bite-sized, narrowly focused learning chunks that facilitates learning in the moment of need. Gamification uses classic game mechanics to engage learners, maintain their attention, and drive motivation. And accessibility and inclusive design ensures universal accommodation of learner diversity, no matter who they are and where, when, or how they are learning. Now, here's the issue. Sometimes these trends are implemented well, but sometimes not. The difference? Whether learning principles are guiding their design. So to fine-tune today's question even further, how can learning principles guide the successful implementation of these trends? Well then, let's next revisit these principles, the tools that will help you navigate the design of these trends to greatest effect. On the left are the ebook's 5 proven learning principles listed in orange. They're your navigation tools for implementing the trends effectively. On the right, they're core functions. Andragogy focuses on how adults actually learn. Accelerated learning optimizes brain processing and maximizes learning retention. The 9 events of instruction provides a complete architecture for any learning experience. The hierarchy of needs addresses what supports people to achieve self-actualization. And transformational learning enables real perspective shifts when you need people to think and behave differently. Each principle brings a unique design lens to each trend. The magic, or should I say the science, happens when we use the principles to guide the design and implementation of the trends. Today we'll be exploring just that with a simple 3-step agenda. Let's check it out. Here's our approach. We'll take each trend and pair it with the learning principles. For each pairing, we'll follow a 3-step process. First, we'll see real examples from pharmaceutical, medtech, and Fortune 100 companies who've done this well. Then we'll dive deeper into the learning principle itself, understanding why and how they work. Finally, we'll look at how that principle guides better implementation of the trend. By the end, you'll have a framework for evaluating any learning trend strategically, knowing which principles to apply and how to avoid common implementation pitfalls. Now let me show you 5 strategic principle trending pairings I've come up with to help answer today's question. We'll start with AI-powered learning guided by andragogy because maximizing learner agency is what AI can do really well if we ask it to. Then hybrid learning optimized by accelerating learning principles for engaging learning that sticks over time. Microlearning structured by the 9 events of instruction to ensure completeness and not just brevity. Gamification designed around the learner's hierarchy of needs for authentic motivation rather than meaningless badges. And accessibility powered by transformational learning to actually shift perspectives and not just check compliance boxes. Each pairing addresses potential design flaws that can really trip up a design implementation. Now, these pairings aren't exclusive. Any principle can guide any trend. What I'm showing you today are illustrative examples to spark your thinking and not rigid prescriptions. So let's look at some real examples, unpack the principle, and consider implementation guidance. Let's start with how andragogy, adult learning principles, can guide AI learning design. First, let me tell you about 3 AI-powered implementations that actually work for adults. Johnson & Johnson implemented an AI-based skills inference platform to map out the skills of its employees and identify gaps for development. With a detailed understanding of each employee's skills proficiency, the platform allowed them to chart their own personalized career paths, supported by learning and development opportunities uniquely tailored to their skill proficiency levels. After first deploying this AI-driven system, J&J saw a 20% uptick in employees' voluntary learning activities. Medtronic uses AI-based performance insights to personalize training, analyzing surgical videos to pinpoint a skill where a surgeon needs improvement, then tailoring practice modules accordingly. This approach, personalized experiential learning, is really at the cutting edge of the AI trend in L&D. IBM uses internal Euro learning platform powered by AI to recommend courses tailored to each employee's role, skills, and career goals. 3 approaches that all use AI to put the learner in the driver's seat. It's andragogy in action. That's right. These examples of AI-powered learning programs work well because they are guided by andragogy, Malcolm Knowles' framework for adult learning. Here's andragogy's 4 foundational principles. As adults, we are all self-directed. We're not so comfortable with controlled instruction. We have valuable experience, knowledge, and skill that can be leveraged to facilitate new learning. We're problem-centered. We want learning that solves current workplace challenges. And we're motivated primarily by internal rewards such as personal growth and achievement. Andragogy guides AI-powered learning by personalizing solution design, respecting learner autonomy, building on their experience, connecting to their real-world problems, and tapping into their intrinsic motivation. With this guidance, AI acts as a learning concierge, not a learning dictator. Of course, AI also brings risks, data privacy, bias, and over-automation, so designers must critically evaluate platforms to ensure personalization supports learning and not just effective efficiency surveillance. When we consider how adults actually learn, we can see that AI's capabilities, which are particularly strong in personalization, are a natural partner for andragogical design. In that partnership, andragogy provides the guidance. Design for choice means AI suggests rather than mandates, letting employees set their own development goals. Leverage experience means AI analyzes prior knowledge and skill, building on what people already know. Ensure relevance means AI connects growth and development to improved performance, applying lessons to actual work challenges. Maintain drive means AI develops reward systems for mastery and achievement, tapping into a learner's intrinsic motivators. Guided by andragogy, AI can be sophisticated enough to understand a learner's needs, but respectful enough to let them chart their own course. Think about an AI tool you've seen or used in learning. Was it more of a concierge or a dictator? What made the difference? Now let's see how accelerated learning principles elevates hybrid design, transforming scheduling convenience into true learning optimization. Hybrid learning has been a design trend for quite some time. Let me share 3 examples from companies that really get how it works in practice. AstraZeneca shifted its sales training to a hybrid model where lessons and topics were identified as being best suited for self-paced virtual delivery modalities, while others, like selling simulations that required immediate performance feedback, were deployed in live settings. The result was less time spent in classroom and more in the field application of the learning. Boston Scientific's EduCare platform gives physicians and health professionals instant online access to a wealth of clinical education and training resources, offering a variety of live and virtual training and education opportunities, including continuing ed courses, all in one convenient place. Walmart provides a compelling example of hybrid learning. They replace lengthy 30 to 45-minute in-class training sessions with 3 to 5-minute self-paced VR modules, achieving improved knowledge retention and delivery flexibility for employees who work on the sales floor, a hybrid approach that other companies such as UPS and Fidelity are adopting. The secret? Learning design that respects and accommodates how people actually learn and work. Let's take a look at the accelerated learning principles behind these successes. Hybrid learning works best when its design aligns with how the brain actually learns. Accelerated learning can guide this design because it optimizes brain processing through 6 core elements. Positive environments create psychological safety and reduce stress hormones that impair memory. Multisensory input uses words, images, and sounds to maintain attention and focus. Active participation over passive consumption drives engagement. Spaced learning distributes and repeats learning over time, eliminating the once and done fire hose method. Contextual variety builds transfer flexibility and promotes adoption to new situations. And immediate application keeps things green and strengthens neural pathways. Hybrid modalities naturally benefit from these accelerated learning elements, providing design guidance that optimizes hybrid learning effectiveness. Yet, hybrid learning also risks inequities. Remote participants can feel second class if design doesn't ensure actual engagement feedback and facilitation across every modality. Let's break it down further. 3 accelerated learning design elements are especially powerful for hybrid design. Let's talk about how they look across these 3 hybrid modalities: in-person, virtual live, and self-paced. Multisensory input works differently across these modalities. In-person uses hands-on activities, virtual uses interactive polls, and self-paced leverages videos and simulations. Positive learning environments adapts to each format. In-person creates energizing peer interactions. Virtual eliminates travel stress and can set clearer expectations. And self-paced removes time pressure and affords safe practice. Active participation drives engagement in all 3. In person through role plays and discussions, virtual through breakouts and chat, and self-paced through interactive scenarios and decision trees. When you design with these principles, you're creating scientifically optimized learning, not just mixing modalities randomly. Imagine your last hybrid learning session. Did it feel equally engaging for those online and in person? What design tweaks could have improved the experience? Now let's shift to our third peering, microlearning. Everyone thinks microlearning is just about thinking things shorter, but that's where implementations can go wrong. Over the past several years, microlearning has evolved from disconnected short videos and e-learning interactions to sophisticated, scientifically designed learning experiences. Here's 3 examples. Novartis transformed 400-page product launch documents into mobile-first microlearning modules and assessments, significantly improving sales, representative learning, and performance outcomes. Pfizer successfully leveraged microlearning for product launches and sales training, implementing daily microlearning quizzes for their Salesforce training, resulting in a 70% faster time to competency compared to traditional training methods. And Deloitte deployed a microlearning strategy for a new leadership development program. By chunking complex leadership theories into 5 to 10-minute modules, learners were able to absorb essential concepts without feeling overwhelmed. This method enhanced comprehension and resulted in a 24% increase in program implementation rates. Now, let's see how the 9 steps of instructional design can guide the design of microlearning solutions to make results like these possible. Robert Gagne's 9 events create a complex learning architecture. Think of it as a quality assurance for your brain. Each event serves a specific neural purpose. Gaining attention activates focus. Stating objectives creates expectation and certainty. Stimulating recall connects new information to existing knowledge. Presenting content transmits the lesson. Providing guidance fine-tunes understanding. Eliciting performance simulates actual practice. Giving feedback reinforces and remediates. Assessing performance drives mastery. And enhancing retention and transfer makes learning stick. Here's why this matters for designers. Missing any event creates a learning gap. Skips events thinking brevity trumps completeness. But even a 5-minute module can include all 9 events if you design intentionally. Equally important is cognitive load theory. Microlearning reduces overload by chunking content, but only if sequencing avoids fragmentation and loss of context. This framework ensures every learning experience follows a logical flow. Cognitive load is managed properly, and knowledge actually sticks rather than just passing through short-term memory. It's the difference between learning design and just making things smaller. Now let me show you exactly how this could work in a real microlearning module. Here's how this can work in practice. Let's walk through a non-event design of a 5-minute compliance module on data security. We open with attention, a 30-second scenario about a data breach that happened to a company just like theirs. 15 seconds to state the objective. You'll identify 3 critical steps to prevent data exposure. 30 seconds for recall. Quick check of what they already know about password security. 2 minutes to content, visual explanation of the new protocol with real screenshots. 45 seconds of guidance, step-by-step demonstration. 45 seconds for performance, interactive scenarios where they apply these steps. 15 seconds for some immediate feedback. And 15 seconds then for one meaningful learning assessment question. And a final 15 seconds connecting this to their actual work performance. Every event has a purpose. Every second is intentional. A complete learning architecture doesn't require more time. It requires better design. The result is knowledge that transfers to actual behavior change, not just completion certificates. That's microlearning guided by the 9 events principle. Think of microlearning you've taken. Did it feel complete and fragmented? Which 9 events or cognitive load theory considerations might have made the difference? Now let's look at how the proper use of Maslow's hierarchy of needs can really make gamification sing. Great gamification requires more than points and badges. And as entertaining and fun as great gamification can be at times, we don't really want to substitute education for entertainment. Here's 3 examples of gamification that prioritizes learning. Abbott Brazil provides an example of gamification successfully driving learning. Prior to a critical product launch, Abbott launched a 5-day quiz-based game which significantly reduced knowledge gaps, improved average and exit assessments, and resulted in enhanced on-the-job readiness and knowledge retention. Medtronic has gamified its sales training for medical device representatives. Their custom-built platform employs game mechanics such as points, competitive leaderboards, and rewards to motivate reps and increase engagement with training content. This approach has helped reinforce product knowledge effectively while making learning more dynamic and interactive for the field team. And KPMG has successfully used gamification in its training curriculum. By turning segments of its learning into a game-like format, KPMG recorded and improved revenue and client acquisition, illustrating how game mechanics can meaningfully boost engagement and real-world business metrics. The key? They all understood what genuinely motivates their specific audiences. Let's see how Maslow's hierarchy of needs supports this kind of gamification design. Okay, so here's the story. Picture Sarah, a mid-level manager, taking gamified leadership training. She's struggling with basic job security, rumors of layoffs, unclear performance objectives, and expectations. The training offers badges for strategic, visionary, and improved champion, self-actualization rewards. But Sarah's stuck at the safety level. These badges feel meaningless because her fundamental need for security isn't addressed. Maslow's hierarchy shows us that people can't focus on higher level growth when lower level needs are unmet. Physiological needs come first, adequate compensation, work-life balance, then safety, job security, and clear expectations. Social belonging follows, team connection, acceptance. Then esteem needs involve recognition and respect. Only then comes self-actualization, personal growth, and fulfillment. Here's why this transforms gamification. When you match game mechanics to actual needs, engagement becomes sustainable. Some critique Maslow as oversimplified, so I also draw on self-determination theory, which highlights autonomy, mastery, and purpose as deeper motivators in game design. Points for safety and needs create security. Social features for belonging builds community. Recognition systems for esteem needs provide meaningful achievement. Growth challenges for self-actualization creates lasting motivation. The result isn't entertainment that grows stale, it's motivation that aligns with human psychology. Now let's see how the wrong approach to inclusion creates compliance theater instead of genuine performance transformation. Let's walk through how a needs hierarchy approach can guide the design of a learning game. Meet Tom, a sales rep learning a new technology. Many gamified training programs might offer him only gimmicks like top performer badges and meaningless leaderboards. Not very helpful because Tom is struggling with basic safety and belonging needs. He's afraid he may not be able to master the new technology, and he feels isolated from his peers. Smart audience analysis does reveal that Tom has these needs, so we start there with game mechanics such as personalized progress tracking that gives him a clear and encouraging starting point, clear milestone achievements that build his security, and peer mentoring connections that shape a learning community for him. Only after Tom feels secure and connected do we introduce progressive esteem level achievement, recognition exercises, and interactions that drive autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And then finally, we provide him with self-actualization challenges that test and reward his genuine growth and achievement. In this way, needs analysis becomes personalized, and mechanics matching allows for the design of elements that satisfy actual learner needs. Progressive motivation elements drive learner growth upwards in the needs hierarchy, and intrinsic rewards link every achievement to genuine growth and capability building. The result is gamification that sustains motivation instead of an initial peak of excitement that fades when the novelty of the game wears off. Think about gamified experiences you've seen. Was it just badges or points, or did it truly tap into autonomy, mastery, and purpose? Let's explore our final pairing, accessibility that goes beyond compliance and drives real transformation. Accessibility and exclusive design have evolved from compliance box checking to learning programs that drive strategic competitive advantage. Here's three examples of sound accessibility program and exclusive design. Eversana InTouch uses accessibility design to accommodate users with a range of disabilities, visual, auditory, motor, cognitive, and neurological. Their accessibility framework recommends elements such as screen reader compatibility, high contrast visual design, and keyboard navigable interfaces. These elements support greater participation by a diversity of learner populations, an approach that underscores a broader industry shift towards universal design in digital learning, ensuring equity and compliance while improving the overall learning experience. Boston Scientific also promotes universal design. It mandates an e-learning course called Practicing Inclusion for all employees. It's available in 18 languages and is designed to raise awareness of unconscious bias and inclusive behaviors. This reflects a commitment to embody diversity and inclusion principles into everyday learning and not just standalone workshops. Microlearning embeds accessibility into their culture by providing mandatory accessibility training for all employees. 97% of employees have completed the training to date. Over the last several years, they reached 2.7 million learners on accessibility around the world. The result is inclusion that doesn't just accommodate differences, but leverages them for deeper learning. And remember, accessibility also means universal design for learning, or UDL, designing for all from the start. It boosts productivity, retention, and engagement across a diverse workforce and not just compliance. Transformational learning happens when adults fundamentally shift their perspectives, not just gain new information, but actually change how they see and interpret the world. Jack Mezirow described this as transforming our frames of reference, the assumptions and beliefs we use to make sense of experiences. The process follows 5 phases: disorientation, when existing assumptions are challenged; reflection, when we critically examine our beliefs; exploration, as we discover new roles and relationships; action, while developing new thinking patterns; and investigation, when we adopt our revised worldview. But transformation doesn't happen automatically. The learning environment must include deliberate diversity, multiple perspectives in all content and events; safe challenge spaces where assumptions can be questioned without fear; reflection integration with built-in time for critical examination of beliefs; cross-cultural dialogue designed across different perspectives; and application support helping learners integrate new perspectives into practice. This creates learning that challenges how people think, not just what they know, turning inclusion from a compliance requirement into a driver of competitive advantage. Let's take a look at how transformational learning principles guide accessible and inclusive design that actually transforms perspectives rather than just checking the box. Remember Sarah from our gamification example? Let's follow her through a transformational learning workshop experience designed to promote inclusive leadership. Phase 1 challenged her preferred colorblind management style, which was actually excluding team members, a disoriented dilemma that challenges her assumptions about fairness. Phase 2 invited critical reflection, prompting her to examine why she believed treating everyone the same was inclusive. Phase 3 opened an exploration. She discovered how different team members needed different support to succeed. Phase 4 led her to develop new thinking patterns as she learned to recognize and address systemic barriers. Finally, Phase 5 gave her tools to integrate this revised worldview into her daily leadership practice. This process only works when learning environments include deliberate diversity in all content, provide safe spaces for questioning assumptions, build in reflection time for examining beliefs, design cross-cultural dialogue opportunities, and offer support for applying new perspectives. The result transforms perspective and behavior, not just knowledge and skill. Accessibility isn't just compliance, it's also innovation. Universal design for learning principles show captions, multiple formats, and flexible pathways benefit every learner, not just those with disabilities. Think of design choices you've made that unexpectedly benefit more learners than you intended. How might universal design expand those benefits even further? The pairings we've explored, highlighted by the blue check marks on this chart, are examples of where learning principles and theories can guide the implementation of current trends in learning design. They are not exclusive. They can be mixed and matched, as you can see by the pairings highlighted with the orange check marks. In these pairings, we see that andragogy can guide gamification by ensuring player choice and autonomy. Accelerated learning can optimize microlearning through spaced repetition and multisensory input. 9 events can structure AI-powered learning by providing a complete experience architecture. Hierarchy of needs can inform accessibility design by addressing safety and belonging needs. And transformational learning can enhance hybrid learning programs by integrated perspective phasing elements into mixed learning modalities. There are many possibilities for populating this design matrix, and as such, it offers a powerful frame to guide your design options. Practically speaking, any principle can guide and thereby enhance any trend when applied thoughtfully. How that's done, well, that's where your creativity and skill comes in. It's your opportunity and challenge to identify which principal trend pairings will best address your specific learning initiatives. So, what are the big takeaways from today's journey? Let's distill the lessons down to these essentials. Here are 3 key takeaways for you that can be derived from this presentation. The better your understanding of how learning happens, the better the learning experiences you will design. Learning principles provide guidance for designing learning that works and delivering results that really matter. Any truly sound learning principle can guide the effective implementation of any learning design trend. Now let's finish up with my suggestions for what you can do next with all that you've learned today. Here's your implementation framework. Start with a trend you are implementing or want to implement. Discuss it with your team. Ask yourselves, what would make this approach really deliver learning that works and results that matter? Order your current or usual design approach. Is it guided by learning principles? Adjust where necessary. Make one principle-based improvement to your design. Remember, you now have a systematic framework for implementing the latest learning design trends effectively. 5 trends, 5 principles, and a matrix of strategic combinations. Use these tools to design learning experiences that honor how adults actually learn while leveraging the best technology has to offer. Go ahead, make some principle-guided learning magic happen. Thank you for your engagement. This isn't the end of our conversation. It's the beginning of more strategic, principle-guided L&D implementation. Remember, you've got the foundation now, 5 trends, 5 principles, and a systematic way to connect them. More importantly, you've got a framework for evaluating whatever comes next. Feel free to connect with us for continued discussion. We'd love to hear how you apply these principles and what you discover. Now go make some learning science happen, the principle guided kind that actually transforms performance.